They make it part of their annual tradition. So if you're not a present, this Christmas will be the mission's last. We'll go back.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Cofrancesco. I'm the Leadership Development Coordinator for the New England and Bermuda District of Kiwanis and a proud member of the Kiwanis Club of Meriden, Connecticut. I am thrilled to welcome you all here tonight to our virtual workshop. As many of you know, we had to unfortunately cancel our fall conference, which was scheduled for November. And we are now scheduling all of the workshops we were going to offer as virtual sessions. So hopefully we're able to reach a whole new audience of Kiwanians that might not have been able to join us in person. So every Wednesday evening for the next few months, we will be offering a workshop or learning opportunity at 7:00 p.m. And tonight's session is the very first one in our virtual workshop series. And I'm so happy that we have such a good turnout for those of you who are joining us here on Zoom and for those of you who are watching on Facebook. So I will tell you about the upcoming 2 December sessions at the end. But to get started, I'm going to do just a couple notes on housekeeping. So we ask that you please keep yourself muted during the presentation to ensure an uninterrupted session. If you are new to Zoom, the mute button is in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. If you are on mute, you'll see a line going through the microphone, and you just need to tap it if you need to mute yourself. You're welcome to keep your camera on if you'd like. We'd love to see all of your smiling Kiwanis faces since we couldn't see each other in person, and a good opportunity to make it feel like we're all gathering in person. So you're welcome to keep your camera on if you would like. We also have a chat. So where you see the little flashing box is our chat. We invite you to welcome and introduce yourself there. And you can also post questions. So if you have questions of tonight's speakers, you can post them right there and we will ask them at the end. If you are joining us on Facebook, you can post your questions on the live stream and we will pull them from there. Tonight's presentation will be about an hour. We are live streaming to Facebook and a recording of this will be uploaded to our district YouTube channel. So if you want to rewatch it or if fellow members in your club or in your division would like to see this, please encourage them to check YouTube and Facebook. And so with that, I am pleased to introduce tonight's first workshop in our series. It is called Conversation with SLP Leaders. We are honored to have the one and only and pizzazz-filled Gayla Bartlett, our district governor-elect from the Kiwanis clubs of Danvers and Methuen, as our facilitator tonight. And she will be speaking with 2 very special guests. We have Alison Lunny, the governor of the New England District of CKI and a student at Northeastern University, and Lydia Tucker, who is the governor of the New England and Bermuda District of Key Club and a student at Laconia High School. You will get to learn about these outstanding leaders, their work as members of our service leadership programs, and what clubs in their districts are up to and doing to stay active during the pandemic. It's going to be a great conversation. I hope you'll enjoy it, stay focused, and leave us some questions in the chat or on Facebook so we can ask them at the very end. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Governor-elect Gayla and Governors Alison and Lydia.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. And hello, Kiwanis family. Woo! How are you? I got to flip pages to see all these beautiful faces. Ah, I miss all of you. So a big hug, big air hug. Woohoo! I am so excited to be able to be here tonight. First of all, with all of you, because I miss you and I miss those smiles. But we have some amazing leaders with us today. What talent, what excitement, and what enthusiasm in our Key Club family and our Circle K family. You young ladies are phenomenal. I'm so proud of both of you and everything that you've achieved, and so honored to be able to speak with both of you tonight. So welcome, ladies. So yeah, it's great. And if you notice, they have their neds with them, so you'll notice. And Brian has his as well. Yes, and I have my tree because, you know, it's COVID times and we need to be festive, right? Woohoo! Judy, I love that you have your tree there. Thank you so much. It's nice to see some bright lights and some pizzazz. So I'm going to start with you, Miss Lydia. First of all, I have been on the Key Club website great things are going on. You're powering through and doing some amazing work. So if you could let everybody here with us tonight, first of all, know what Key Club is, and then just give us, a rundown of all the cool things that you guys have been doing. And you can talk about the realignment of the district as, your divisions as well. But I really want you to let everybody know that you guys are doing some pretty amazing things out there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's been definitely a very different year. So we started right off with our virtual decon. So all of our lieutenant governors came on the district board completely virtually. So we did all of our training for them virtually. I was trained at a virtual governor's training, which would have been in San Francisco. And then we went on for a virtual international convention, which was called SLC, Summer Leadership Conference. And pretty much we've really found our identity this year with all of these like virtual elements. We've been having committee meetings once a month on Zoom. Lieutenant governors have been able to hold divisional council meetings and regional training conferences on Zoom as well. And we've also had a lot of increased attendance through those. So that's been really good. We've had pen pal program set up. So there's key clubbers on the district board that are sending each other snail mail. And then there's also a program where key clubbers in the New England Bermuda district are being pen pals with key clubbers like across Key Club International. And then most recently this fall, we have a divisional realignment plan, which was passed by the Key Club District Board, and then the Kiwanis District Board ratified it. So basically we're divisioning the entire district, so it will only be 20 divisions next year. And the new lieutenant governors will be elected for those divisions in January. And it's been a really good time to do that because we haven't had to travel to see those divisions this year. So we've been able to focus a lot on that. But it's been really different, but really productive as well.
So you're on Zoom calls, I'm assuming. I know in Kiwanis land, we seem to be on a Zoom call, I'd say maybe once to twice a week, depending on what subcommittees we're on or what we're working on. It's a great way to see each other. At least we get to see the faces. And I think that's one of the things we miss the most are those beautiful smiles. So it's so nice to see the smiles. So on your latest, if you want to talk about your newsletter, because Carl is here, Carl is in the house, the editor of the Yankwanian, and we always have to give him kudos when we can. Woo! Yay, Carl. I can't see him, but I see his nice little picture. So yay to Carl, who takes care of our Yankwanian. The man's amazing. And I do want to give a big shout out to Bermuda, because I see Bermuda. Hello. Hi, guys. So Lydia, can you tell us about your magazine and a little bit about some of the great things that are in there, the articles, the essays, some of the things in there, why people are key clubbers. I mean, those articles are powerful and things that you would expect to see from a journalist in the New York Times. So kudos to those writers and all the great things they wrote about. So can you shed a little light for our Kiwanis members on that?
Yeah, so our district publication is called The Yankee, and it's produced by our district editor, Christina Dutra. She does all the editing, and then she's really good about, we have a district Instagram, and we advertise the opportunity to write articles for any Key Club member in the district. So we've had a lot of really cool representatives write articles. We have like presidents and different Key Club members. And then we also have articles from like Circle K. A really good example of this is a girl named Liz, and she's going to Mount Holyoke. She just chartered a Circle K club there, I believe. Yes. And she got to write in our last edition of the Yankee. So that's produced once every quarter. So usually at the start of a new season. And then this year, which is actually new, our district editor has been really awesome about, is every single member of the district board writes a little update about what they've been working on or like their favorite service project or something like that. And it's really cool to read through and kind of get to know everybody a little bit better. So we really like that.
Thank you, Lydia. I think that's wonderful, and keep up the good work. I read your intro as well. Well done. So Miss Alison, Governor Alison of Circle K, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we were talking a little bit before the session started, and I know you have been busy and you have been Zooming everywhere. Don't you get tired that you feel like, all I have to say, it's a good thing that we're not really flying everywhere we're going, or we would all have some serious jet lag, right?
Yeah, definitely. Between classes being online, and then
Yep.
my job is online, and then Circle K is online.
A lot of onlining.
Yeah, a
It
lot
is.
of online Zoom calls.
But you are doing so much at Circle K, and you guys are doing great things as always. If you could let our members know some of the wonderful things that you've been working on, that would be great.
Yeah, so similar to Lydia, all of our, ever since the beginning of our terms, since our terms began in April, everything has been online since the beginning. So I think I haven't met some of my district board members in person yet, which is really weird to me. But we kicked off the year with like our district officer training and our club officer training online, and we were able to connect with a lot of our clubs right from the get-go with like the virtual format, because kind of a silver lining to everything being virtual is that we now have like all the skills to meet online, and like everyone knows how to like open a Zoom call now. So we've been able to connect with a lot of our members, and all of our clubs are either hybrid or entirely virtual. So it's been easy. It's the same level of interaction, like to be able to go to like a district event versus a club event, which normally you'd have to like get in a car and like round up some friends and then drive for like 2 hours to get to like a central area. So we had our fall conference in October, and that saw a really great turnout. We got over 40 members to attend and some Kiwanians to also attend. And we also have like gotten continued like interaction throughout like a few smaller events. We had like a virtual citizenship engagement event in June. We've had a Kiwanis family trivia night, and we've had a few online virtual service events for the district. And a lot of our clubs have also been doing great things between like adapting to a virtual environment, a lot of free rice, and also some in-person events too, especially our Boston clubs have been able to serve in person. Oh, I think you're on mute.
I was on mute. I'm sorry about that. So that's wonderful. So I think it's great. And if you guys could tell us each some of the service projects that you're doing with your clubs, that would be wonderful. Because I read someone was doing the Trevor Project. So if someone wants to talk to me about that, that would be as well. Great. Lydia, Allison? Take it away, Lydia.
All right, I'll go ahead. So I guess for key clubs, this really depends on if you're hybrid or remote or in person completely. But my key club has been hybrid from the beginning of the year. So we've been able to do some raking and some cooking for homeless shelters and things like that. But on the district level, there's some really cool interaction with some of our district projects. So I talked a little bit about this at KPTI Day, but some of our key clubs have been able to make hearts for KPTI, and they've decorated the windows with them so patients and the nurses can look at them. And then one of our divisions right now is in the midst of a divisional service project, and they're selling candy canes, and they're able to actually do everything through snail mail, which is really cool. And it's really like uniting them as a division. So that's been really cool to see.
Yeah, we've also been able to see a good mix because our clubs like range between being completely virtual and being hybrid. I go to Northeastern University, so our club has been very good about providing like service opportunities both in person and online. So we've picked up a lot of new service partner, or I guess service organizations. It's kind of hard to call them partners if you haven't like interacted face to face with them. But we've, like I mentioned before, we've done a lot of free rice and a lot of transcription services that are offered online. And I think we've also done a few like other like mostly transcription, and then also some letter writing ones that you can conduct like over a Zoom call where everyone's interacting together. And of course, we returned to some of our service partners that are still allowing service volunteers to attend. So the Emerald Necklace Conservancy, I think we planted daffodils for them to sprout in the spring, and a few other cleanups that we've been attending.
That's great. Usually we would meet you at one of our conventions or all of our conventions. So it's great that we can have you both with us today. I know Kiwanians, we get excited to have such vibrant and wonderful leaders up and coming. So it's so exciting for us. You see all these smiles here in the room? Look at all these wonderful Kiwanians smiling right at you, ladies. It's wonderful. So we always like to know what we can do to help. So what do you need, or is there any way? I know that you do KPTI Day, which was great. And I know a lot of Kiwanis members went to that virtually, which was really exciting. Sometimes that event is so sold out right away that we can't even get there. So the fact that it was remote was huge, because a lot of people got a look at it when they wouldn't normally have, which is wonderful. So what are some things that we could do to get involved with the Key Club and Circle K, and some help you need from us?
Yeah, so like I forgot to mention my original question that KTPI Day happened, and that was a big success. We got a lot of attendees there, and we saw a lot of members of the Kiwanis family. So some ways that like your continued support is always like welcome. Like I know our some of our Kiwanis like advising clubs to our Circle Ks have been really helpful, and we've been reaching out to a few more as we've been like slowly growing, slowly but surely. So if you have a Circle K in your area and you would love to, and you'd like to like get to know them or attend, or have them attend like a few meetings of yours, those connections are always open, and we'd love to interact with you more. Or you can reach out to us as a district, and we can see if we can pair you with someone in your area. But just continuing to be there for our members and offering your support when you can is always welcome. We're not quite as big as Key Club is, so we have about like 11 clubs I think right now. So obviously like it's not like every single like there's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but we would love to like work with all of you like once if you guys have interest.
Lydia?
Yeah, so last year at a district board meeting, which was in person, but I was a lieutenant governor, and one thing that was really cool for me is to meet my corresponding Kiwanis lieutenant governor, excuse me. And it was just kind of cool because we were from the same area, and we kind of knew different things that we could talk about and relate to. So that was really cool. Other than that, though, it's really cool to see Kiwanians at meetings, whether it's us attending their meetings or if you guys come to our meetings. It's also, Kiwanis can be kind of foreign to us, so it's kind of cool to get to watch what you guys are up to as well. And I know some of our district board members have been featured on your Facebook account or in the Young Kiwanian, and that's been really cool to be recognized and kind of be a part of your community. So really anything that can bring us together is something that would be a really, really cool experience.
So Lydia, you just gave me a great idea and a wonderful point about the partnership between the lieutenant governors in our divisions and yours. I think it's a great idea for us to try to get them together and maybe have a shadowing opportunity, or definitely get those emails together so that each division can have their Key Club and then their Kiwanis Club Lieutenant Governors Connect. That's huge. And Alison, I'm sure if we could try to get the Circle K involved as well, I think maybe for next year, that's something I could definitely work on and getting, and I think that's a great stream of communication, and it keeps us all connected, and that way we can see what each division is doing. And I think that would be great for mentoring as well on all three sides, because we love to learn from you guys, because most of the time you're doing some new cutting edge things that we haven't even thought of. So it's great for us to get those ideas from you. So thank you for that idea. I think that's a wonderful idea, and that would work wonderful. So thank you for that. Does anybody else have anything else they want to tell this wonderful group that's together about that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so another way that like I'm not really good on the fly, so now another thing going back
I think you're doing great.
and support us is attending our events. So we've had a few so far. So we had our KPTI Day most recently, I think last weekend, if I'm remembering the passing of time correctly. And then we had a Kiwanis Family Tribute Night in September. But our next like kind of like event that everyone can attend is our district convention coming up in February. And so it'll be kind of a hybrid format where the district board will be in person in Portsmouth, but then everyone else will be attending via Zoom. So that's our biggest project right now, because our district convention usually is in late March, but we're kind of like moving it up in terms of like timing this year, so that way it works better with everybody's course schedules, and so that we can get better attendance at it. So I'll send a link in the chat for our sign up and our webpage for it, if you guys are interested.
That's wonderful. I know I signed up. It's on my birthday. I was like, oh, I get to go to a virtual convention on my birthday. What fun. What fun is that?
We'll have to wish you a happy
Okay,
birthday then.
fun. And Lydia, we just had, or somebody want to talk about thirst? Who wants to talk about thirst? Your big project that you talked about it. Would you like to?
Sure.
Go for it, Lydia, because we have our special fundraising campaigns that we do for the Eliminate Project and things like that. But I know I have my long sleeve thirst shirt. So can we talk about that? Tell everybody about it. I think it's great. Go for it.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know what the Thirst Project is, it's basically an organization that helps give people in third world countries access to clean drinking water. And they do that through a couple different programs. You can either donate $25, which I believe gives one person clean water for life, or you can donate $12,000, which provides a drinking well. And I believe they also document like them building the well, and they also send you videos and updates about that. So that's really cool. But one way that I've been able to get involved with the Thirst Project was actually when I attended International Convention last year in Baltimore. So we actually got to meet Laura and Vanessa Morano, which I don't know if you know who they are. Laura Morano is from Austin and Ally, the Disney show, and then Vanessa Morano plays in a really popular TV show, Switched at Birth. So we received an award from them as a district for raising the most money for Thirst Project per person, I believe. And that's been really cool. And then there's also a really cool program that I think most of the clubs in our district have been able to take advantage of, which is the Thirst Project. It's like a road warrior program. And basically there's, I believe, 12 road warriors, and they're college students that are usually taking a gap year. And they travel the country giving presentations to high schools about the Thirst Project. So you can sign up for free and they'll come talk to your school. And that's usually where most Key Clubbers learn about the Thirst Project and its mission. And they're usually really, really fun and exciting to listen to. So that's definitely really fun.
That's wonderful. That's great. And kudos on the award. Woo-hoo. Good for you guys. That's huge. Alison,
Thanks.
now you got to enlighten us on all the magic that you're doing.
Yeah, so similar to the Thirst Project, Circle K International is partnered with WASH, which is a subsect of UNICEF. So very similar missions of providing sanitary water to people in developing nations. And Circle K actually has like a firm partnership with UNICEF where we plan to raise a total of, I think, $240,000 by 2022 with them. It's a 5-year partnership. So we interact with them. Like I did like a WASH 6K challenge where in the month of August, when kind of classes were in a bit of a lull, I walked 6K a day and people sponsored me for certain days.
Wow, Alison.
And another member of my board did something similar. So that's how like we've kind of been trying to get more Circle K members involved, because it's good to get out and get active, especially in the middle of a pandemic where you're not really getting, like, I know I live in a city and I got all my exercise by walking to class and walking around the city, but now that I never leave my apartment, that's a little bit not
on the treadmill, right?
Yeah, if I could fit that in my apartment. So it was a good way for me personally to get out, but then it's also a great way to raise awareness. And the 6K represents the average amount of distance that someone in a developing nation needs to walk to get their water for the day. So it also had like kind of like a significance in that sort of way.
That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. And Lindy is here, and I would be remiss if I did not mention Key Leader, Lindy. I love Lindy, but as you all know, Lindy is such an advocate for Key Leader, which is for our high schools. So I just wanted to put a shout out there, Lindy, right? She's on mute, so I'm just gonna get a thumbs up. We always have to talk about key leader, and Lindy's just amazing when it comes to key leader. So we think about that all the time whenever we think of Key Club. I know that's instilled in my brain because I hear Lindy say it everywhere and she's so passionate about it. So Lydia, I'm going to ask you, have you had some of your Key Clubbers go to Key Leader? Yes. Did you get to go yet? Have you been there?
I wasn't able to attend this fall, no.
But you're familiar with
I
it,
think,
right?
Yeah, so it actually got canceled and it was on a virtual platform, and it was at yes, so it was on that self-paced. It was like a program, which was really cool. And I don't know if any of our district board members got to participate, to be honest, but I believe I know some Key Clubbers that got to participate, and it was pretty cool.
It's wonderful. Allison, do you have something similar like Key Leader has for Key Club for Circle K that we should know about, we can help with?
Yeah, so I guess I'm not a Key Club alum. So is it like a leadership conference?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Lindy is right there. Go ahead, Lindy.
Okay. Key Leader is a leadership weekend conference. It's at Camp Calumet at Lake Ossipee in Freedom, New Hampshire. That's the New England, where New England has theirs. It starts Friday night and ends Sunday morning, and the kids do low ropes course. They have classes in integrity, growth, the pursuit of excellence, respect, and the sense of community. It's to me the best program that we have for teaching leadership. I've seen it change kids' students' attitudes about life and what they're capable of. They have to challenge themselves at the event. I can't say enough good about Key Leader. I think it's one of the best programs that Kiwanis has to offer. And if you can go on the virtual one, I believe you can still go on there. I don't think you had to go that weekend to do it. So if you want to go on and check it out, it's a YouTube thing. So go ahead and check it out.
Thank you, Lindy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Got that, Allison?
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really awesome program. We usually train our district leadership and club leadership through a club officer training weekend. Usually in about March. I know we went kind of like virtual, but then a step beyond virtual, where we kind of just sent them a bunch of resources and pre-recorded presentations last year, because it was going to be combined with our decon, which was scheduled for the weekend right before all the lockdowns happened. So we'll be scheduling a new club officer training for next year at probably the end of March-ish. But between that and then our fall convention, which happened in October, we usually run a bunch of leadership exercises and try to hear from our club leadership what they need. So that way that can really set this tone for our district leadership involvement and what we put out to them.
That's great. Wonderful. I love it. So you guys are doing so much. And I know Brian, I don't know, Brian is our wonderful facilitator. If he would like to, I see there's questions in the chat, and I'm not sure if he's going to read them or if I am. Okay.
I'll read the first one to get you started, and then I'll send the rest to you via chat. That way you can ask them as you go.
Because I can see them in chat, so that's up to you.
Okay, we've got some
unless we send them to you directly. Yep.
Yep, we've got a few that have come in other ways. I think the first one I'll start with is a question for Alison and Lydia about why you joined Key Club or Circle K.
Yeah, so I was not a Key Clubber. I grew up in North Andover, Massachusetts, so close to where you are, Gayla. But we didn't have a Key Club at my high school. I was a Girl Scout. And so when I came to Northeastern, I knew I wanted to be involved in service just because I had grown up around service with Girl Scouts. And a lot of my friends did sort of a pre-college, the week before they entered college, they did a service week. And so they all transitioned into Circle K. And so I kind of went with them. And then the rest is history. I guess like 5 years later, here I am. And I stayed in Circle K because I know in college you can join a lot of organizations and then kind of drop off easily. But I stayed because the community, especially at Northeastern, has been really welcoming. And I feel like every single time I go to an event with them, I always leave in a much better mindset than I entered it in with. Like for example, like I accidentally signed up for a morning shift I had to leave my apartment at 6:15 a.m. on a Saturday. And so I was not looking forward to that, but at 11:30 when I was leaving, I was like, wow, I couldn't have imagined like serving somewhere, like doing something else this morning, because otherwise I would have been just waking up and not had felt like as good, and like from just hanging out with my peers, and then also like serving at a great organization. We were serving at the Women's Lunch Place in Boston. And so I stayed because of the people and because of the great work that we do. And it's also very flexible with a busy college experience, because you just kind of sign up for whatever events that you can attend. And I know as an engineering student, I was very appreciative of that, because I can't really commit to like very high commitment student orgs just because I'll be working on final projects and exams and all of that.
Lydia? Thank you, Allison.
So I actually come from kind of a lucky position. I have a lot of family members that were Key Club members, so I knew a lot about it before joining. My dad was actually the Key Club advisor at my school a couple years before I joined, and I had a lot of cousins that were really involved with it, and they all told me, you should really do Key Club. So I did, and I signed up at we call it a club fair, and I got really involved during my freshman year. I actually spent a lot of my childhood going to like the Kiwanis bike rodeos. There's like pictures of me on their website when I was little. So it was kind of just like a part of me, and I had to join in high school to like fulfill that expectation that everyone had for me to join. But I ended up really loving it. And most of my friends that I have now, I made during Key Club my freshman year. And a lot of the adult relationships I have, some of them are writing me recommendations because of the time I spent with them in Key Club. So it's definitely been a full circle experience.
I love it. I think stories like that, I know they give me, I say, goosebumps. I think it's so wonderful that we, when you're brought up as a Kiwanis child or in the Kiwanis family, it is something that, you take with you for the rest of your life. I think that's really powerful. I have taken my daughter to every Kiwanis event I've done since she was in kindergarten. So she can run a bike rodeo now if she has to, which is good to know. And immediate past governor, John, is in the house. So I'd be remiss if I did not say hello. Hello, John. How are you? Welcome. Just want to make sure that we all see that he's here. He was with Miss Lindy. Good to see you, John. All right. Good to see you. All right. I got my questions here. So we're going to start with you this time, Miss Lydia, because Allison went before. So I'm reading all this. Oh, nope. This one's for Allison. Sorry, Lydia. All right. What is the free rice you mentioned? Our club does not have a Key Club or Circle K club. Is there a way we can support your organization?
Yes, I can actually send a link. Let me get it to my to our virtual service ideas document, where we talk about all of our virtual service partners that we have found and sent to our clubs to help support. Here, I'm sending in the chat right now. So that's just a document, and we distributed it to all of our clubs at the beginning of COVID to kind of help their transition. And so free rice is on that list. It's just a trivia game that you play, and you dump for every question you ask, I think it represents 20 grains of rice that the organization donates. And so usually by the end of an hour, you can sign up for a group session. Usually by the end of the hour, you can provide a bunch of meals for people. So that's what that was referring to. And I forget the second part of that question, Gayla. Could you repeat that?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm doing Jeopardy. Okay. So what kind of service okay. So our club does not have a Key Club or Circle K club. Is there a way we can support your organization?
Yes, yeah, so there is. So attending our district convention coming up would be amazing, and we would love to see you and get more interaction with our Kiwanis counterparts. And if you're interested in sponsoring a Circle K club, you can feel free to reach out to our district administrator, Marianne, or our Kiwanis Family Relations Chair, Jordana Belisle. I'll throw their emails in the chat too, so that way you have their contact information. But yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So our next question is, I think this is actually, Brian has put them all into one for me. What kind of service projects have you heard about from the clubs in your district? So what kind of service projects have you heard as governors? You guys hear everything, right? You know what's going on. You're in tune with all your lieutenant governors. What kind of service projects have been going on that you've heard about that are new, exciting, or that are, you know, innovative? Because we have some Kiwanis clubs that have done things I've never heard of before. So COVID has actually brought some outstanding thinkers in and some ideas and concepts that we might not have taken the risk to do before, but now we take the risk. So what are some of those great service projects that you've heard about as governors? Alison?
Yeah, so so some of those virtual service partners that we've established. So something that I've been attending, I've happened to like it worked out with my schedule that I've attended behind the bars transcription service a few times, where it's basically like a weblog platform where you can transcribe kind of like handwritten blog posts by people who are in prison and then post it to this blog. And we've also been working with the Smithsonian Transcriber, which is a very similar service where you get kind of like a scanned image of like an old document, and then you just have to like type it up so that way they can put it online. And so that with kind of like going virtual, like we've seen a lot of those new virtual opportunities pop up. And then also we've seen a lot more cleanup events because it's very easy to do those distanced. And it's like you can just put a bunch of trash bags and gloves on a table, and then people can go up one by one and get a bag. So we've done so at Northeastern, like we've done a few cleanups along the Charles River, and also like in our like in the neighboring parks around like the Emerald Necklace Conservancy is one of our big partners in terms of that.
That's fun, that transcription service. Wow, that is great. Talk about taking your talents and putting them to use and doing that. So your Circle Ks do that as a volunteer service.
Yeah. So usually it's easy to do over Zoom too, because we usually just set up a Zoom call with everybody, and then everyone has like two tabs or two windows open side by side, and so we can talk and like interact while also and like run a few like icebreaker activities while also doing service.
That's great. See, and it's a new concept, right? Because now we have the Zoom capability that we can get everybody together, and you're achieving wonderful things as a team. You have fellowship and service all wrapped into one call.
Yeah, and I think it's really building up skills for the future too, because we're able to connect with people who are at home across the country.
Yeah.
So in the future, when people are studying abroad, or when people are like studying somewhere else, or if they are studying from home remotely, they'll be able to still attend Circle K events in the future, since we now have these new skills and capabilities.
Right, great. Lydia, how about you? What have you heard about for these service projects going on everywhere from Key Clubbers?
I'd first like to do a little a promo. So we actually came out with a pandemic manual a couple months ago, and it's all about how Key Clubs can serve during quarantine and different service ideas. So we've been kind of pushing that to our Key Clubs, but also to any like other leadership organizations like Kiwanis that might be interested in some of those ideas that we have established. But one of our most popular fundraisers this fall was the Camp Sunshine pumpkin run, which a couple people participated in. And I think like virtual walks and runs have kind of been very popular recently, but I don't know if anyone has done any, but it's basically you can do it through an app or just track your run and send in your results and they'll give you your medal or t-shirt, and then everyone can have like a fundraising page. So that's been really cool. We also have been featuring a variety of key clubs on our What's Crackin' Lobsters YouTube series. So there's a couple different projects we've had on that, including one key club that set up lanterns made of milk gallons, and they drew like ghost faces on them and they lit them up in a really cool path. So that was one of the most recent ones. The KPTI hearts were featured on there as well. And then most recently, there's been a lot of card making for veterans homes and children in hospitals for the holiday season.
Can we just talk about that title? That's so cute. What's Cracking Lobsters on YouTube? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I had to write it down. I was like, I love it. What's Cracking Lobsters? That's a hoot. Okay, that's wonderful. So you have been asked, and I knew you would be asked to share that your manual that you mentioned. So I'm not sure how we can get that, Lydia, or how some of these wonderful Kiwanians get a hold of that literature, but I'm sure if you can send that over to Brian, he can get that over to us somehow, right, Brian, in your notes or something magical that you're going to post, sir?
You can also post it in the chat and we can post it on Facebook too.
That would be wonderful.
I'll be happy to put it in the chat. Thank
you, Lydia. Governor Lydia, I appreciate that. So I've seen this question twice, so we may make sure we address this one. So So people are curious what you guys are doing to get everyone to attend your weekly meetings. So what are your programs like? You said that you have more members now, your attendance is up. So what are you guys doing to make this exciting, and what kind of programs do you offer? And what does like a regular meeting look like for you guys?
Yeah, so at Northeastern, we have meetings every other week, and we've been able to continually like get attendance at them by having sort of like virtual icebreakers and kind of fun events mixed in. Like usually we do, when it's in person, we do a service project, like a craft or like writing letters or things like that during the meeting. But since that's kind of difficult to do all in your own homes, we've been doing things like we had a trivia night last night just for our members. And we've been doing kind of like other icebreakers where we've been doing breakout rooms. So that way it's kind of like only like 3 or 4 people. So that way you can actually have a conversation, because we've discovered that the more people you have in a call, the harder it is to have a conversation. And trying to engage with our members kind of like in small groups, that's really been able to get them feel more connected to the club when you're just like talking to your laptop all day. So we also have a virtual event ideas resource guide. So I'll drop that link in the chat too. If you guys are interested in kind of like seeing what we're doing and getting some more ideas, but yeah.
I'm loving all the resource guides. This is great. So everybody that's here tonight is going to walk away with some wonderful ideas thanks to our leaders here from Circle K and Key Club. So thank you for sharing. I think that's one of the most valuable things about the Kiwanis family, is that we share with each other. We help each other grow and we help each other unite. And I think that's wonderful that you guys are doing such wonderful things. So we got that. Circle K contact. Oh, there's more questions. Bear with me. Okay, I'm sure leading a district board and clubs during a pandemic has been unique and maybe challenging. How do you think you've grown as a leader as a result of this experience? Would you like to start, Alison? Lydia, Alison, go for it.
Get started. Yeah, it's been a huge like sort of like I've really grown in adaptability this year, because when I decided to run for governor, we were already in COVID, but it was a sort of thing that you never really prepare for as a student leader, and not the sort of thing that you anticipate to ever happen until it does. So it's been really a unique experience to just kind of adapt with our clubs and kind of be able to like have a question be asked of me where it's like, how can we get this to happen? And then my initial answer being, I don't know. And being comfortable with that I don't know answer, but I'll get back to you on that and let you know. Like, so that way we can reach out to our broader support network and see, because we're all dealing with the same things internationally. And it's been kind of comforting in the fact that like all of the governors in my governor class are dealing with the same issues, and we're all kind of brainstorming together. And between all of our districts, someone has an idea on how to solve a problem. So increasing that like communication where we've all kind of like created this like unique bond around just like dealing with COVID and dealing with like everything that has been happening this year, because we've definitely been thrown a lot of curveballs. That's definitely prepared me to like kind of deal with these kind of like, not like crisis management, but it's made me like be better on my toes on thinking about things.
Absolutely. And I think you become more creative. And I think if nothing else, COVID has definitely taught us to be more resourceful and stronger and a lot more determined. And it's definitely shown with both of you. So I think that's great. Lydia, what do you think?
So at the beginning of my term, and I think a lot of us were kind of at the same place, we kind of thought that COVID was just going to be like a short-term thing. So I was kind of okay with that at first. I was like, oh, I'm going to get a little bit of time to, relax and recover from a stressful beginning of the year, but that turned out not to be the case. And we have a lot of in-person events as key clubbers. We have our key leader, we have some events over the summer, international convention. So definitely, I think it's forced me to be a little bit more creative in the way that we host these events. And also the way we structure them has changed a lot. And I think in some ways for the better, which has been kind of nice to see. There's definitely been some things that I've learned about hosting events virtually that I might want to incorporate into in-person meetings now. Other than that, it's just been really interesting to, see how this year has gone. And yeah, it's been a really good experience.
It's great. So now you have a few months left, right? What do you have planned for the rest of your year as governor? What are those things that you haven't done yet that you really want to get accomplished, that, you want to make your mark as governors of Key Club and Circle K? So what are those plans for the next few months coming up that you plan on igniting, sparking, and keeping everybody in line and excited about your mission and your vision and everything that you guys have got going on?
Yeah, so my sort of like governor's project this year has been really focused on increasing district involvement with our clubs. Since when I served on the board last year, I was membership development and education, and that was something that we really kind of like I felt like we needed to increase this year in order to kind of like come back together as a district. And so I plan on for the rest of my term really focusing on those interactions, and next semester visiting. My goal is to visit each of our clubs in some format, and that's a lot easier with Zoom because I don't have to I don't have to drive out to Connecticut to visit our clubs from Boston. I can just join a Zoom call and click a link. And I also, my second big goal is securing a full board for next year, because it's been a while since we've had a full board with Circle K leadership, but this year we do. And it's been invaluable as a governor to lead a full board versus having a vacancy. And it's allowed me to put a lot of focus on some district-wide initiatives. And that's something that I really want our next governor to have walking into the role, and setting that board up also very early too, so that way they're prepared and transitioned very well. Our plan this year is to elect our 3 official board positions at DCON, so that'll be end of February. They'll know who they are, and we'll have an entire month to transition with their predecessors. So that's a big thing that I have been focusing on, so that way we can set up next year's board for success.
That's great. And I think having your strategic plan and setting your board up for success is huge. So that way, in that month that you have the mentorship, that's wonderful. That's a great idea. It's a good concept. That way no one goes astray and you're not leaving somebody without that guidance that they need. That's huge.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know I personally became governor about like 2 weeks into April. So I was
Mhm.
a little late. And so even with international, I was missing a lot of emails and
Yeah.
things like that. So having a board ready to go almost a month before their term starts, I think will be really good in making sure that they're just set up and like when they start their term, all they have to worry about is their term.
Woohoo. Great. I think it's great. The more supportive you are, the better. That's wonderful. Lydia, how about you? Do you want me to do you want me to recite the question? Or are you good?
I think I remember it.
And for 10 points.
Oh, that would be nice. So something I've been really passionate about this year, and as I said, I was a lieutenant governor last year, and I was actually, I had a division that was in 2 different states, so I ended up visiting key clubs that were 2+ hours away. So that was really hard, even though I enjoyed obviously getting to meet them. But
Yep.
so I'm really passionate about the divisional realignment plan, and something I'm really working hard on right now is setting up the caucuses for the new lieutenant governors. So they're going to be a little bit more difficult this year because lieutenant governors are going to have to host, in a sense, more than one caucus because their division is going to be split into different divisions, if that makes sense. So the logistics of that are kind of difficult at this point, but it's going to be for the greater good of the district for sure in terms of geography and LTG travel in the future. And then the other thing that we're working on is just planning decon, which is still in the early phases, but we have a pretty good plan. We have a theme which is service through the decades, and we have some pretty
Oh,
passionate key covers about that. Yeah.
there's going to be dress included in that, I can
And
tell.
then I also, at the beginning of the year, I created 2 new committees, and then I changed the directives of one committee in hopes that they would be more productive and have like a better focus, I guess. So hopefully we can reflect on how well those worked this year and change them if they didn't work well this year for the next year.
That's great. Good for you. Changing directives. I love it. That's awesome. So for us as Kiwanians, we always get excited about, the youth and the upcoming leaders, because you guys, obviously, I'm sure you know that filtering the Key Club into Circle K and then Circle K into our Kiwanis clubs is definitely what we need. And we love the spirit of the two of you. I am so excited that you took the time out of your days and your schedules, and I know you're tired. You've been zooming all day at school, and here you are zooming again, and you're wide awake, bushy-tailed, and so enthusiastic. I really appreciate that. So one question I have for the two of you before we depart, as Kiwanians, we love to be supportive to our clubs and our Circle Ks and our Key clubs. What do you think of when you think of the Kiwanis Club as a whole, as adults? What do you think of when you think of us? Because I know what we think of when we think of you. We think of the next generation of leaders. We think of the energy and the charisma and all the fresh ideas that you guys can bring to us and that you bring to the communities. But what are the words that you think of when you think of Kiwanis as a whole? I'm just curious as the PR chair as well. So go ahead, putting you on the spot, ladies. Alison?
Yeah, I think the word that comes to my mind especially is like stability, because I think at least as college students we're trying to figure out our place in the world. And Kiwanians, like we see you guys as like the real adults who kind of know where they are. And we also, I think a large part of like how we see Kiwanis and what like might like scare some Circle K members from joining Kiwanis initially is that you have to really be like rooted in order to join a Kiwanis club, which is something that I know, like I've talked to some Circle K members as we've like kind of like as I've stepped into like a governor role and learned more about Kiwanis, how that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
And I know like we even have like the Greater Boston Young Professionals Kiwanis Club
Kiwanis,
who are aimed to like for people who are young professionals. So yeah, that's what comes to mind when I think of Kiwanis.
Great. Lydia? So you didn't think I was going to put you on the spot tonight, did you?
I think we might have known.
Oh, okay.
Kind of being involved in Kiwanis, like since I was very young, I always have that sense of like home when I meet Kiwanians. I always feel like they're really easy to talk to, and I guess this might be a stereotype, but I've never really had a bad conversation with a Kiwanian. I feel like you are all very motivated, intelligent professionals that I look up to. I strive to be one day, and I really admire that you're able to balance a job and a family, and also still prioritizing service to your community. I feel like that's something that a lot of students get to do in high school and college, but balancing that as an adult is definitely something that I hope I'm able to do.
Well said, Miss Lydia. So on those high school scholarships that we talked about for your application for Kiwanis, I would think that paragraph would be great. I'm ready to give her a scholarship right now, and she's not even my club. I'm like, you got it, whatever you want. You're both wonderful. So I would like to thank everybody that came on our call tonight. It is, again, so rewarding and refreshing to see all your wonderful faces. I miss you all so much. Bermuda, you're all the way out there and you're here with us. I really appreciate that too. And the fact that you're all here with us supporting two wonderful governors in our Kiwanis family. Ladies, you are among the best. You are amazing superstars. And they're all giving you a high five. They're all clapping for you. They're all hooting and hollering because you two, yeah. And I always, when I think of Kiwanis, I think it's a big hug. So, yeah, thank you, Lydia. Big hug to both of you. Everybody's, look at, you're getting hugs from Bermuda. So, and Lydia, everybody's hugging you guys. So we appreciate everything you've done. If we don't get to see you on the next call, which is next week, then I wish you all a wonderful, happy, safe, and warm holiday season. And make sure you keep Kiwanis in your heart, in service, and make sure you continue to check in on your fellow Kiwanians and let them know how much you love them and how much you care about them. Thank you guys and have a great night.
Well, thank you so much, Gayla and Alison and Lydia. That was such a great conversation. It was wonderful to have you here with us and for you sharing your experiences, especially as SLP governors. And thank you to all of you who attended tonight. As Gayla said, this is just the start of our workshop series, and I really hope you will join us for our next session, which is next Wednesday at 7 p.m. It is our Club Officer Summit, and that will be a special 2-hour workshop that will give club officers the chance to meet with district officers and with each other to talk about not only how their year is going, but maybe some of the challenges that all of our clubs are facing, ideas, suggestions, service projects, lots of opportunities for conversation and to connect with Kiwanians from across our incredible district. So that is next Wednesday. The following Wednesday, we will take a week off on December 23rd, but we will be right back at it on December 30th with making a regional and global impact with your club funds. And you will get to learn about the Kiwanis Foundation of New England and the Kiwanis Children's Fund. Later this month, we will send out the workshop lineup for January. We'll send that via email. It will be posted on our Facebook group and Facebook page, thanks to the help of past Governor Elise DeNorfia. And if you did not receive the email about our December workshops, please check your spam folders and your promotions folders for those of you on Gmail. Some of the filters are blocking our constant contact emails. So you should be getting an email as a member of the district once a month with the lineup of what's coming. So if you have any problems or you're not getting the information, send me an email. It's education@newenglandkiwanis.org. And you can also find my contact information and the contact information for Gayla, for Governor Dennis, and for anybody else involved with the district at newenglandkiwanis.org. And I hope you will encourage your fellow club members and your officers to attend next week and all of the webinars we have planned for the next few months. So with that, thank you again to Gayla and Alison and Lydia, and to all of you for joining us for conversation with SLP leaders. Yep, Gayla, got our Kiwanis hearts going out to everybody. We hope we will see you soon, and I want everyone to stay safe, be well, and thank you for being a Kiwanian.